I spotted the very king I want among his sons. As Jesse and his sons came to the sacrifice, Samuel took one look at Eliab and thought, here he is, God's anointed. But God told Samuel, looks aren't everything. Don't be impressed with his looks and stature. I have already eliminated him. God judges persons differently than humans do. Men and women look at the face. God looks into the heart. Jesse presented his 7 sons to Samuel. Samuel was blunt with Jesse. God hasn't chosen any of these. Then he asked Jesse, is this it? Are there no more sons? Jesse replied, well, yes, there's the runt. But he's out tending the sheep. Samuel ordered Jesse, go get him. We're not moving from this spot until he is here. Jesse sent for David. He was brought in, the very picture of health, bright-eyed, good-looking. God said, up on your feet, anoint him. This is the one. Samuel took his flask of oil and anointed him, with his brothers standing around watching. The Spirit of God entered David like a rush of wind. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in the green pastures. Yes, he does. Beside the still waters, he leads me. He restores my soul. Path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, no evil will I fear. For thou art with me, with thy rod and thy staff, they bring me comfort. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my foes. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all my days, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. There is nothing I shall want. There is nothing I shall want.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians. Sisters and brothers, you groped your way through that murk once, but no longer. You're out in the open now. The bright light of Christ makes your way plain. So no more stumbling around. Get on with it. The good, the right, the true, these are the actions for the daylight hours. Figure out what will please Christ and then do it. Don't waste your time on useless work, mere busy work, the barren pursuits of darkness. Expose these things for the sham that they are. It's a scandal when people waste their lives on things they must do in the darkness where no one can see them. Rip the covers off those frauds and see how attractive they look in the light of Christ. Wake up from your sleep. Climb out of your coffins. Christ will show you the light. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Glory and praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Glory and praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Glory, glory and praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Glory and praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Walking down the street, Jesus saw a person blind from birth. Jesus' disciples asked, "Rabbi, who sinned, this person or their parents? What caused them to be born blind?" And Jesus said, "You're asking the wrong question. You're looking for somebody to blame. There is no such cause and effect here. Look instead for what God can do. We need to be energetically at work for the one who sent me here, working while the sun shines. When night falls, the workday is over. For as long as I am in the world, there is plenty of light. I am the world's light. He said this, and then spit in the dust, made a clay paste, and with the saliva rubbed the paste on the blind person's eyes and said, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. The man went and washed and saw. Soon the town was buzzing. His relatives and neighbors and those who year after year had seen him as a blind person begging, "Why isn't this the person we knew who sat here and begged?" Others said, "It's that person all right," but others said, "It's not the same one at all. It just looks like it could be them." And he said, "It's me, the very one." And they said, "How did your eyes get opened?" A man named Jesus made a paste, rubbed it on my eyes, and told me, "Go to Siloam and wash." I did what he said. When I washed, I saw. So where is he? I don't know. They marched this person to the Pharisees. This day, when Jesus made the paste and healed the blindness, it was the Sabbath. The Pharisees grilled this person again on how he had come to see. And he said, "Jesus put a clay paste on my eyes and I washed, and now I see." Some of the Pharisees said, "Obviously, this man can't be from God. He doesn't keep the Sabbath." Others countered, "How can a bad man do miraculous, God-revealing things like this?" There was a split in their ranks. They came back again to the blind person. "You're the expert. It's your eyes that were opened. What do you say about him?" "He's a prophet." The Judeans didn't believe it, didn't believe that this person who was blind to begin with. So they called the parents, now bright-eyed with sight, and they asked him, "Is this your child, the one who was born blind? So how is it that they can now see?" The parents, "We know he is our son, a child of God, and we know that he was born blind, but we don't know how it is that sight has come. We don't have a clue. Why don't you just ask?" This child of ours is an adult and can speak for themselves. His parents were talking like this because they were intimidated by the Jewish leaders and the authorities in the temple and the synagogue, who had already decided that anyone who took a stand that this was the Messiah would be kicked out of the meeting place. That's why the parents said, "Ask our child. They are grown." So they called the person who could see back a second time and said, "Give credit to God. We know that this man is an impostor." And he replied, "I know nothing of the sort, but I know one thing for sure. I was blind and now I see." They said, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? I've told you over and over, and you haven't listened. Why do you want to hear it again? Are you so eager to become his disciples also?" And with that, they jumped all over him. "You might be a disciple of that man, but we're disciples of Moses. We know for sure that God spoke to Moses, but we have no idea where this man even comes from." And they replied, "This is amazing. You claim to know nothing about him, but the fact is, he opened my eyes." He's well known that God isn't at the beck and call of sinners, but listens carefully to anyone who lives in reverence and does his will. That someone opened the eyes of this child born blind and has never been heard of ever. This person didn't come from God. They wouldn't be able to do anything. They said, "You're nothing but dirt. How dare you take that tone with us?" Then they threw them out into the street, and Jesus heard that they had thrown this child of God out, the one who had been cured, and went and found them. And Jesus asked, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" And they said, "Point him out to me, sir, so that I can believe in him." And Jesus said, "You are looking at him right now. Don't you recognize my voice? Master, I believe." The man said and worshiped him. Jesus then said, "I came into the world to bring everything into the clear light of day, making all the distinctions clear, so that those who have been never seen will see, and those who have made a great pretense of seeing will be exposed as blind." Jesus said, "If you were really blind, you would be blameless. But since you claim to see everything so well, you're accountable for every fault and failure." My sisters and brothers, the gospel of the Lord.